This meeting is being recorded.
All right, guys, welcome to the Field Camp podcast. Usually, I bring the most interesting Field Camp customers or anyone who I have been talked to in the Field Camp industry to this podcast and who I think can share some great insights. And today, I have two people who I met recently a few weeks back. And after the first call itself, I was so energized, and I'm pretty sure Ronnie was as well because he mentioned it. So let me first I talked to Ronnie about introducing himself and yeah, just any background on your business, what you're doing that can help our audience.
Excellent. First, Jeel, thank you so much for inviting me. This is actually my first podcast ever. So this is quite an honor, and especially to be on with you. I mean, I went and looked you up, and I was like, man, this guy is the co-founder and CEO of Invoice Owl. He sold it. He is leading up at a group called Upper. And then before he worked at DevRev as an SEO optimization guy. And I'm like, this guy really has a lot of credit behind his back. And then when you shared with me, when you sold that company for multi-millions and millions of dollars, they're like, I invested it all into Field Camp so it could be one of the top AI software for the service industry. I got excited because my personal name is Ronnie Pinnell. I'm the owner and operator of Tree Rangers Tree Service in St. Petersburg, Florida. I'm an ISA arborist, and we're also licensed, bonded, and insured. So pretty much that means I'm just a little guy with a smaller business. We do close to $1 million in revenue a year, but we just have like 4 staff members. We've had a hard time scaling. Obviously, the labor pool in this industry is very tough. And I was really interested because I started learning a lot about AI. And I've been with other companies like House Call Pro and Jobber and stuff, and they have nothing when it comes to AI. So I was able to, in the last year, I was able to get rid of my secretary, fielding calls. I just started downloading apps, trying different things. And when I searched Chat GPT, I look at the comparison of Field Camp and House Call Pro, and I was just shocked. And the best thing about it was the personalized service. Like, I've been with House Call Pro a long time, and you have to click on a bubble, and there's no person that can really talk to you. Like, I actually got onboarded by Jeel Patel. I was like, wow, the legend. I'm onboarded by him. I'm like, this is cool. So what kind of questions you got?
The first one which you just said, which is you have almost doing $1 million in revenue. First of all, kudos to that because most businesses are not able to scale to that part of it. So just taking a step back, can you walk us through the journey of I imagine it would have been hard. Nothing is easy being a founder. So what was that journey like?
Well, let me go back a little bit. So what's interesting, when I was 18 years old, I felt like I knew more than my college professors, and I knew I was going to be a businessman. So I was working part-time at a little store back in the day, and you probably won't even remember this, when they had pagers or beepers, and they, sent a little tone and you could read a code off a beeper. So I was working there programming the pagers and stuff, while I was, doing other jobs and stuff. And the owner was just like the worst person in the world. He never paid his taxes. At the end of the year, he was taking my taxes out of my paycheck, but never paid them to the government. It was just a complete wreck. So I was like, you know what? If this guy's, he never showed up to work. I ran the whole business, and the clients were lining out the door. And I'm like, this is incredible. So I was so mad at him that he didn't pay my taxes. I went and opened up across the street in a major mall. And that was a little pager company. But the month I started, the very first cell phone company ever in America came to me and said, we see what you're doing over here, and we would like you to be our first representative for a company called Primeco Mobile Cell Phones. And nobody had a cell phone. Maybe some people had bag phones back then, where you carry around a bag, you put it in the center of your Mercedes Benz, and you make satellite calls. But nobody had like a real flip phone in their pocket or nothing back then. So I was the first person, the first entrepreneur to ever have a cell phone business. I grew that one store every single month. So there's 12 months in a year. So my first year I had 12 stores. because I took the profits and I kept wanting to invest it in myself because I was scared to put it in the stock market or anything. I knew if I could manage, I'm kind of a control freak if you can't tell, but I knew if I managed that business, it would be successful. So before I got started in the cell phone business, I went to all my competitors and find out what they had to offer, what their pricings were for pagers and so on and so forth, what their good parts were and what their bad parts. So I went and searched all my competitors first. Then I grew this company to 12 stores the first year. Each year, the cell phone company paid me a market development fund to open a new store, and they paid for my signage because they wanted to expand faster than they could themselves. So I'm an independent representative of these large cellular phone companies. I'm allowed to carry 3 or 4 or 5 different cell phone companies in one store, and they're all competing for market share because they're all just coming to market. So this is a brand new thing. I'm the first guy to ever have it. So I grew this to 116 retail stores and 1,000 employees in 10 years. By the time I was 21, I made my first million. By the time I was 25, I made 10 million. And by the time I was 28, I had enough money to retire. It was
Wow.
gross. And by the time I was 30, I went through a devastating divorce and lost everything. I mean, the divorce laws in America are crazy. So I just picked up and started. I knew business by then. So I had the business side figured out. I had no money. So I went into real estate, did about $300 million in real estate. 2008, the real estate market crashed, lost everything again. So 3 times I've been a millionaire, and twice I've lost, ready to like sleep in a car, put a gun to my head. I was so like upset. But us people, when we're innovators and business owners and entrepreneurs, we get kicked out and we come back even stronger each time. So I wanted a business that was more focused on like one day at a time. And that's what I love about the tree business is we just go out, we usually cut down 1 tree a day, about $3,500. We do it 5 days a week. I get Saturdays and Sundays off. And I've been doing this about 8, 9 years now. And just, I run it as a business owner, but I also know how to climb trees, cut them down, so on and so forth. But I really run it from the business perspective and not the tree perspective. But you can mix the two of them very good.
Understood. No, that's first of all, heads off to you for starting a business multiple times. And it takes a lot of grit to lose everything and then start it again with that. Like, that's, you have my respect for that. Now, there's this book
Thank
on
you.
my table. It's called Range, which is mainly why generalists triumph in a specialized world. So the author says like people who are generalist, they usually succeed more in business, rather than a specialized person. So I know the answer to this, but I'm still going to ask it. Do you describe yourself as a generalist or a specialist, and why is that?
Uh, I would say both. So I have street smart and book smart. I love the employees. I build relationships with them. I mean, that's what I find so much business is building relationships and then expanding on those relationships. Some of my best clients have it. So I feel like I'm an expert in marketing and advertising, but really like, I also feel like I'm really good at building relationships. I like meeting people. Like when I talked to you, I was like, man, I was really impressed. I was like, this guy, I mean, he really had it figured out. But then I was shocked also with Field Camp, if you don't mind some review,
Yeah, yeah.
I
No
was
worries.
like, it doesn't really have the glamour and the graphic artist and the marketing on the software aspect as much as some of the other softwares. So it didn't have the glamour but he also, so that's why I asked him, I said, how long ago did you launch? So what's the answer to that? How long ago did you
One,
launch Field Camp?
one and a half year ago. Yeah.
1.5 years. But when did it go live where you signed up your first client?
Oh, July this year, like 2.5 months back.
Yeah, 2.5 months. So of
Yeah.
course you don't have all the glitz and glamour in 2.5 months. But how many people did you have working how long to get the foundation of the company?
14 people.
14?
Yeah.
14 people to start a company. I mean,
Yeah.
I've never started a company with one person. You had a team of 14. And all of that, I looked it up. They were some of the best specialists in the industry. Like, I'm sure your interview process was very, rigid and stringent. You need to have people that bought into the team motto and bought into your vision and mission that you have for field camp, correct?
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
They
And I'm sure
everyone.
you're pretty proud of your team too. But I was like, you know what? Sometimes when people are coders and programmers and stuff, they don't have that marketing mind. They don't have that advertising. They don't, like my shirt, it's safety orange. It's bright as hell. I'm in a
Yeah.
tree. People have to be able to see me. All my vehicles are wrapped the same. When we go to work, it's called tree rangers. We literally look like the military is pulling up to remove your tree. That's
Mm.
intentional. That's branding, So, well, he's an expert at coding, and that's why I was so interested because I really feel for the service industry, you are the AI like guru specialist because Jobber and House Call Pro did good 10 years ago, but they don't have a 10-year future. You got the future of what, Google used to be big, and now AI is going to be the new thing taking over. So as much as we can talk into your software, Field Camp, the better it's going to save us on efficiency. So if I'm working 10 hours a day with Field Camp, I feel I could go down to 2 hours a day if I was just literally spending the time on the software. So it's going to cut because I found out one big thing in business. Your time is valuable. Like as a tree business, we get paid $500 an hour to cut down trees. So what I said is we are no longer going to the gas station to go get food, go get this, to go get that. I'll have one person fuel up the trucks, get the water, get at $20 an hour instead of spending $500 for my 4 staff and my 2 trucks to just go to the gas station to get water and ice in the morning. So
Okay.
time is valuable. So that's why I like field camp because it saves me time.
Understood. And so now shifting a little bit of perspective over here, because I know you both, Nikki and you, are experts when it comes to marketing, and that's most contractors I talk to. That's the difficult part. While they are very good at what they do, and I have total respect for them. It's always if you are marketing a product or you are marketing a service. It's always the hard thing to do. So, what if you were someone who was just starting out, for example, me or Nikki, for example, in this case, if we are just starting out, or like you guys can just tell me, what is like the first few things to you would do, and that includes small things like you said, like having a branded truck, for example, or a shirt, for example. Then how would you think of marketing in an actionable way if you're starting out as a contractor?
Okay, I'm going to start with my first 4 or 5 bullet points and then go into and let Nikki share of his 4 or 5 bullet points. When you start a business, start with an important name that matters to you. Your name matters. It's going to create identity. It's going to create branding. So you want something that's going to stick out in the marketplace. I happen to do market research. I'm in St. Petersburg, Florida. We are right by a military base. 20% of our million population within 3 miles of here is military. So that's why I came up with the name Tree Rangers. I looked at what a ranger was. Rangers take care of the forest. Rangers protect America, so on and so forth. I felt like I wanted to run it with standard operating procedures, and I wanted to run it similar to the military. When we go out, we chop the trees, we do it in a certain order, we protect your house, and we make it safe. So my clients buy into we protecting your house, we're making it safe, we're going to remove this tree without dropping it on your house or having any damage. And they like, the military type people coming out that are respectful to their property and treating it like it's their grandmother's house.
Understood.
Next was creating a logo. This is a badge. This badge here can go on any hat, any shirt, or shoes. It can go on the side of a truck. It can go on a business card. It can go anywhere we go. So I spent a few bucks to actually create a logo. Next thing I did is with that logo, I started my social media website campaign, things like that, because now I already have a name that I'm proud of. I got a logo that I'm proud of. And next is getting the word out there to the target audience. Next, I had to figure out who my target audience was. I only travel 3 miles to go do tree work because my trucks take so much diesel and it's so expensive and they break down and this and that. So I only wanted to go 3 miles to do tree work. Next, I had to figure out what my value was. I went and competitive priced all my competitors, talked to them, had meetings with them, sat down with them. I was a new guy in the tree world, and I never worked for a tree guy in my life. I climbed telephone poles for an electric company. So I asked all the tree guys, what are you getting? What are the good things? What are the down things? They said the labor pool is really bad. I don't know if you know this, Google it. Tree removal and logging and tree trimming is the #1 most dangerous, deadliest job in America. Our workers' comp is 35% on the dollar. So that means the labor pool for somebody to do this, they have to be like pretty mentally local. They don't have it all. They don't have like a college degree like you do. They're actually working with their hands and fist each day with their muscles to make money. They don't have usually married families, kids, a wife at home, those type of things. These are manual day labor guys that have a different mentality. So I had to put all those different things together, and I figured out what's my value, and that's $500 an hour. So we work 8 hours a day at $500 an hour. That's $4,000 a day. You take 4,000 times 5 days in a week. You take 5 days in a week times 52 weeks, and you come up with $1 million. Guess what I've done the last 9 years?
What?
$1 million. I've never been able to scale it and get it bigger, but it's never went down either. So that's why I started looking at other forms of marketing and advertising, and that's where I met up with Nikki. So I'm gonna let him tell you about marketing and advertising and his perspective. Go ahead, Nikki.
Absolutely. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Good. So what I would say when it comes to, actually kind of, advertising for a local business in 2025 is just standing out, right? Because everybody's trying to advertise, everybody's doing social media, everybody is on Facebook, everybody's on Google, everybody's here, everybody's there. But people don't realize that nowadays when you go on social media, you're not looking to see an ad. You're not looking to see another tree company just, giving you a normal offer. You have to stand out. And that's what you have to figure out. And that's for everybody to figure out. I mean, what we did with Ronnie is we made extremely good video content. And why? Because people like to watch it. People have high dopamine. They want to see something flashy. They want to see something that actually entertains them and not just, gives them a price in their face. Like, hey, tree removal starting at $999. Nobody wants to see that. They get into flight or flight mode when they see that. But when they see something actually entertaining and good to watch, they're going to watch this ad from start to finish. And this is how you bring in customers, right? And Ronnie mentioned a very, very good point with having your ideal client persona in that sense. So what we do is as soon as a person clicks on one of these, AI, all these videos are made with AI, by the way. I'm not a video editor. I don't have a college degree. I'm 18 years old. All I did was just pay $6,000 for a fucking course that I had online. So it's really, it's not that complicated as people think. You just have to be creative.
Let me share on that real quick, Nikki. So what he was able to do is take images, video of other tree companies, make it look like it was my own personal tree company because we have all orange shirts. So he had all tree guys climbing trees in orange shirts. But then in the video, he goes, my name is Ron. I'm the local arborist here in Pinellas County, Florida. Watch my team and staff, cut down these trees. But every image is exactly what we do every single day. So I always thought you had to film your own crew. And he introduced me to AI, and he's like, I can produce your same crew. He's all the way in Switzerland, by the way. In this AI video, and he goes, give me a chance. So I was like, all right, give you a chance. So I want to share the difference of the video because I used to be in the mood set. I got to go film a movie and put it in your own staff, and they got to introduce themselves, so on and so forth. Go ahead, Nikki.
Yeah, so just about the videos. So so what we do is it's all about actually scripting that video. So that video actually has some sort of reason and creativity behind it. So what we do is we create a very, very strong hook, right, to actually keep the viewer watching. Because if there's no hook, no one's going to finish till the end. So we create some sort of something skeptical or something that there is no real answer to. So the viewer actually keeps watching to get this question answered during the video. And when it comes to the body, we just tell some funny stuff about the company. We make it entertaining, not just boring stuff. Hey, I am that owner here and there. we add a bunch of details that people actually want to know. Hey, we're locally owned and operated. We're a family-owned business. You know, a bunch of comparisons, right? I can actually share my screen and just
There's
show you. Right?
people laughing, you know, swinging their arms, throwing chainsaws around,
Exactly.
safely removing trees. I mean, it's action packed, like something you see in a movie theater. Honestly,
Definitely.
Absolutely,
can you share a video, Nikki?
Yeah, I think that's going to be a little bit easier. Give me a second.
No problem. Then the audience can really totally understand what these videos look like. But also, the unique thing is he did two things he didn't mention. He created an urgency because people always put stuff up. They're on Facebook scrolling. I heard somewhere where people scroll as much as tall as a Statue of Liberty, you know, as they're scrolling and stuff. So people just scroll. We need them to click. And the other thing he did is he's like, what kind of offer can you offer him? So I did 20% off of my total price, which my profit margins, I'm at 200% profit margin. So 20% was nothing. And a lot of people actually wanted to see that offer. But then also he created an urgency for them to click on the landing because I wanted pre-qualified leads. I wanted people that actually target my market, that own a house, they make over $100,000 and they're ready to cut down a tree today. So here's the video. Let's play it.
Look at these local arborists from Pinellas perform insane skills during work.
What's up, my beloved Pinellas homeowners? I don't think you have ever seen tree removal this savage. My name is Ronnie, and this October, the Tree Rangers prepared something that we only offer once. Most companies out here will massively overcharge you, but your tree job shouldn't fund someone's fancy office or billboard. With us, you pay for one thing and one thing only. Your tree removed safely and right, because my guys don't carry clipboards. They carry ropes, saws, and zero hesitation. They are war-tested, rain-soaked, and built for heights most people cry at. So get ready for skilled and passionate pros to climb your tree and leave your yard cleaner and fresher than ever. Our yard-friendly equipment will also make sure of that, by the way. So if you finally want a fair price for your tree without paying for someone's massive overhead or billboard, then click the link below, because this October, you are not just getting a free estimate with the owner directly, but an entire 20% off your full project. No tricks, just treats.
There's me. 20% off.
Yeah, so we made
muscles.
that.
That's my AI version.
Yeah.
No, definitely.
But one thing you notice, I forgot, sorry, a huge keyword in any kind of advertising is anytime you can get the word free in there. So two things sell, the word free and sex. Well, there's nothing sexy about cutting a tree. I can't get a girl out there in a bikini. So I try to use the word free as often as possible.
No, that's crazy. And one of the things I would just add, because this is what we do as well. Now, because of all this ChatGPT, Perplexity, etc. Traditionally, people would just go to Google and they're like, "Hey, tree cutting guys near me," something like that. But now, what's going to happen is, like I think you mentioned, you found us through ChatGPT. Then
Correct.
people are just gonna go because ChatGPT and everyone is trying to make it more local. So this is what I do in Perplexity. I'm like, hey, I'm feeling pizza for dinner today. I want something vegetarian and I want some like maybe a weird pineapple on top of it, something like that. Now, can you suggest me some places which offer this? Now, Perplexity is gonna go and find that answer. People are going to go do the same thing on AI engine where they're going to take a picture of their tree and they are going to upload it on ChatGPT and they're like, hey, I need this tree removed and I don't know anyone. Can you help me find someone who's going to do it? Now, what's going to happen is your video content, if you are marketing present everywhere, all the 5 steps which you just mentioned, doing all those basic things, then there is a higher chance ChatGPT or this AI engines are going to suggest that person to you because first of all you were present online all this while and ChatGPT knows about you, and then it's also your content is telling them everything, telling ChatGPT everything you can do. So you can do XYZ services, you can do that service, etc. So it's also like added advantage of doing all this video content.
Yeah, and also I'd like to add, you know, when I did the ChatGPT search, I searched for CRM software for the tree industry that can help me grow in the future and that has artificial intelligence. So he's only 2.5 months old, but he came #1 top ranked, and it showed the reasons why. One of the unique things, and this is something to be proud of, I've been with House Call Pro a long time. my monthly bill is $149. Field camp, I think, comes around somewhere close to $39.99. That's $110 a month savings. Plus, they're gonna set me up for the future. So that's something else that really, stuck out to me too that I want to point out.
Exactly, exactly. Now, what we can do is, it just seems that you guys have figured out a system to build out a profitable business. And what I'm thinking is, it doesn't need to be a tree company, but it can be
Any service
it
company.
can be,
Yeah.
you can be a plumber, and I bet you would be making $1 million. You can be a HVAC guy, I bet you would be making $1 million. So, when if someone is starting out, like first thing, should they just think of systemizing things? And when I mean that, well, when I say that, what I mean is they should be like, hey, I need to make a van first of all, like paint my t-shirt, van, etc. I need to get a tools, toolkits, etc. I need to start marketing. And what does this systemization look like if someone is starting out?
Well, I mean, I started off as basic as knocking on doors and having a chainsaw, So I mean, first of all, don't go get loans. You don't need a loan. You can go start it yourself. I mean, I had everything I needed within, I think it was 3 months, if less. I had a truck, I had a dump trailer, I had 8 saws, I had everything I needed. And then when I started adding profit, I started putting it towards marketing and advertising. I feel that's one of the best investments I can make, marketing and advertising. But then I also know I'm going to be on the road working, either selling or doing the tree work. So I need a software company to keep up, with that. My software, it texts, when we're on the way, it takes pictures of our completion, it asks for a review. That's one thing I talked to Jeel about is I was amazed with the partnerships he has. Like it has Stripe where you can do credit card. What's my accounting software? QuickBooks or
QuickBooks.
whatever. Yeah, QuickBooks. What other interfaces do you have right now that you can link up with?
We have Twilio for phone numbers, Gmail for emails, Stripe for payments, and I think we are doing one in every category, and that's how we are like thinking of it as of now.
Yeah, so every month you'll be adding more and more interfaces of
Exactly.
companies that have but that you build relationships with. When you go to all these conferences and speak and stuff, the more and more you'll be adding all along,
Exactly.
especially with artificial intelligence, correct?
Definitely.
Scheduling, you have scheduling right now, right, with AI?
Yeah.
Yep, scheduling's a big one. You could even do your service goals with AI, right?
Yes. What's
Yep.
what's your target? Maybe that's like one thing we'll eventually do, and anyone can do it, right? So either what you can do is you can go to ChatGPT and you're like, hey, this is my numbers. Help me plan a roadmap to reach to like $1.5 million in revenue in next 1 year.
Hold on, say that one more time. Make sure everybody's writing this down. These are like key nuggets, guys, that you need. Like I've been looking for so many years, 9 years in the tree business. Like these are nuggets he has. This is why he's the genius and the founder and the CEO, and he's bought these companies and sold them. And now he has one that's going to be better than ever. So go ahead and say that again.
So what you do is you have this profit and loss statement you're maintaining over the years. You just drop it on Claude or ChatGPT, and then you'll just say like, hey, this is what I've been doing. These are activities I've been using Nikki for my video generation, which is gaining me crazy leads and followers. We are getting these many leads from videos. You tell it everything about your business. You sit for 1 hour and write it down. And then you just press enter. And then you just see from that point onwards, it knows everything about your business. And then you just tell it like, hey, how much do I need to pay Nikki this month to triple my leads, for example? Then it will give you a roadmap. So this is like how I use personally for like my product goals or business goals, etc.
And I always like to dumb everything down. So let's pretend you've never used Chat GPT, AI, any of those things before. They have a software now called Cursive, and it can teach you a new AI tool every day for only 15 minutes, 30 days, and it's 30 or 40 bucks. It's very minimal. So they have tutorials now to learn. You don't have to try all this stuff because what he said may seem complex because he's a coder and things like that, but it's very simple. I promise you. Any person with a third grade education can figure this out.
Exactly. And that's I think future is just gonna be awesome. Everyone would be there's a ton of money to be made, etc. And we would see companies like yours, especially. Like we don't need enterprises. Honestly, we want local businesses who can dominate that territory and make more than approx like $1 million in revenue for multiple years, and then you are set for life, right? So basically, and what the goal of this podcast was that, and the takeaways were that, hey, you have this business and you are starting out this business. You should think of it in two ways. Are you doing enough marketing? If not, then you need to be an expert like Ronnie and Nikki, who know their stuff, who know their market, what they are targeting, 3 mile radius. You need to be crystal clear on your ICP, which is your ideal customer profile. Who are you going after? And the second thing is, if you are starting out, then this is my framework as well. Before I start out, my first hire is not a developer. My first hire is a marketing guy. So I start my website, my marketing, all those basics, fundamentals first. Then you can talk to customers as Ronnie did. Ronnie was like, hey, going door to knocking, like, hey, what do you need? Can I help you? Etc. You did your customer research, the second part of it, which is same in the software industry as well. Then you are like, okay, what to build in the software or in the service business? It's like, what services shall I offer, and how should I price them?
Like,
So
what are
Yeah.
their needs? What do people need?
exactly. And
Like,
then
one thing House Call Pro never offered me was a description of how to remove a tree. Well, now this is interfaced with, AI, and you could put a full description of how to officially write it up, how to remove a tree to make you look intelligent, even if you didn't study trees for 4 or 6 years in college.
exactly.
It can give a full description of exactly how to remove that tree.
And
Instead of just the word tree removal and you're trying to charge 3,500, it says, okay, you chop down the limbs, you chop down the truck, you make it flush with the ground. There's dump fees, there's hauling fees. We can use the chipper, everything associated, so the customer can build value instead of just thinking it's some guy chopping down a tree. It can build value. Oh, they probably have to have $500,000 in equipment. They have to have insurance, license, bonded, insured. It goes through all that on this just one little page estimate, and it says all the information about your company just from a little estimate. And nowadays with his software, you can bring your iPhone with you, have a printer, and print out the estimate, and it can have your logo in full color and everything. It's amazing.
definitely, definitely. And the last step in the process is just, if you're making $1,000 in revenue starting out, then it's fine to borrow some money initially, but
Yeah,
spend
yeah.
spend $1,500 or $2,000 on marketing. It's fine to make a loss initially, because if you are making 1,000 and spending 2,000 on marketing, there's a high chance within next 1 or 2 months you are going to be making 4,000, and then within the first month you have recovered your ROI on the investment on like marketing. So
Correct. And I'd like to add that too as a business owner. Okay. So my daughter right now is at the University of Florida to be a medical doctor. She's Japanese citizen, American citizen. Her schooling cost $400,000. I know that's a good investment because that's her career. That's what she wants to do. She's between grade school and college. She's going to be in school for 18 years. I'm okay with that. But if you start a business, I don't encourage you to go get loans before you start the business to go buy all this equipment and stuff, because you might find a niche. You might just be the stump grinder, and you might need $100,000 stump grinder. You might not want to cut down trees. You might be scared of heights. There's 100 different things. So don't get a whole bunch of loans. Start it from nothing. Like he said, save 1,000 or 1,500, then put it towards marketing. So there's a difference. Yes, loans are fine once you know what you're doing.
exactly,
Or if you're scared of starting a business, go intern for somebody for 3 months or get a job with whatever you want to do for a few months so you actually understand the industry. If you're scared, I'll just go start any business, on a whim. But I've also had 43 businesses that were successful.
definitely, definitely. But yeah, I think those were some great insights. Only we can wrap up with a quick rapid fire. It's gonna be a funny one as well. But let's
Yes.
let's see. These are gonna be the 5 questions which I had written it down. So the first one is a more like just a traditional. Any podcast asks this question: what's your favorite marketing book or creator that you follow or learn things from?
Honestly, it's Nikki. I swear to God, because he is in 18 different service industries in almost every state here in America, and his video contents are just unbelievable. So Nikki's the person I follow.
Yeah. So I
And
think when it
plus, he's
comes to
18. Yeah, and he's new, and he has these great Generation X ideas.
Yeah, thank you. So when it comes to like listening to marketing creators, I would definitely recommend something from Jeremy Haynes or maybe Dan Henry. I'm not sure if you know him, but they're pretty decent creators on YouTube. They have about 60,000, 70,000 followers. And you know what I do? I just, wake up, put in my ear, like my AirPods, my whatever headphones, whatever I have, and I just listen to them all day. And they're not really specifically talking about service-based industries, but they're just talking about the basic, simple concepts, right? And you can plug that in absolutely everywhere. And they're putting a lot of AI into it. So I kind of combine it, make my own mind out of it, and I just plug it into Ronnie's system, or plug it into whatever, Max's, John's system, whoever the guys I'm working with, right? So I cannot recommend you specific people you should listen to, because for every single person is going to be different, depends on what you're doing. But I mean, just if you type in whatever, funnel creation, AI marketing on YouTube, you'll find so much stuff for free. You don't have to get a loan for university. You don't have to pay for anything. It's all free. There's so much free stuff out there that people are just giving. So, and most people are not taking advantage of it. So I think this is a huge, huge benefit of our, year 2025, that there's just so much free education. And I can be honest with you, right? I'm still basically kind of, half time in school. And all this stuff I learned from YouTube, like in the past, let's say just a year, is probably 100x what I've learned in school. And it's simply because you look at it, you implement it. You look at it, you implement it. It's like, listen, learn, do. Listen, learn, do. And with school, or just a bunch of just paying for a bunch of education, I mean, it's great. Depends on what you want to do. Obviously, if you want to be a doctor, that's a completely different scenario. I mean, I don't want to get a surgery from a doctor that got his education from an online course, right? It's different. But when it comes to business, all you need is just putting in the fucking reps. Just as Ronnie told, you don't need a bunch of equipment. You don't need a bunch of knowledge. You don't need to be a fucking genius. You just need to go in, do something. When I started, I didn't even know what that was. I didn't know what I was doing. Before, when I signed my first client, I haven't even created a video yet. I didn't even have a product. I just came to the call. I was like, hey, I am the G. I'm gonna, make your business 100 grand a month, whatever. Guy believed me simply because I looked confident. That's all was necessary. And I signed my first client. So I think in the beginning, it's really just about putting in a certain amount of reps, because volume neglects luck at the end of the day. And that's from Alex Hermosi, by the way. He's also on YouTube for free. So yeah.
And I want to add one more thing to that. So if you start a service industry and you're really good at business, you might not be good at doing that service. So go hire a master plumber, go hire a master roofer. They're out there that want to be in business. Maybe you could even give them 25% shares of the company or something to have them train you and teach you and be the operating people. You might not want to go get an attic and put an air conditioning in, but I encourage you, find the person that does, that wants to own a business, that has no clue of how to handle the things you know how to handle.
Got it.
Next question. Let's go.
What's your favorite movie or TV series?
You go first, Nikki.
Favorite movie? Shit, I don't even know. I have so many. It's probably one of my Die Hard. Die Hard.
Die Hard. All right.
All right.
I like people that, they got pushed down, they got broken down, and they come back up. And one of the ones I think of that is anything with The Rock. I love The Rock. He's strong. He went from wrestling to acting. He has clothing lines, everything. And he has one thing is he gives back to the community. I encourage you, you're a business owner, 10% of whatever you make, you give back to your community. Every time it'll come back tenfold.
Definitely. No, I think that's a good thing everyone should do. Now, if you weren't doing this currently, which is in this business, what would you be doing?
I'm going to be doing it. AI.
Oh, nice. Nikki, what about you?
Absolutely the same.
I think, yeah, everyone is. I was just saying, like, if AI was to go like.
Jeel, can you kind of explain like what people used to do with Google before, and what AI, how much bigger it is going to be, that because everybody uses Google, right? Around the whole world. because AI hasn't really launched yet. How much money's being invested? How much bigger if you had to multiply, is it 10 times bigger, 3 times bigger? How much bigger is AI 10 years from now?
So currently what was happening was there was if you combine the total, for example, simple example, if you were to combine total money you were to make as everyone in the world, it's going to be like $1 trillion, for example. Then with AI, that is now $3 trillion. So that's the power of it. And the reason for that is at, with AI like Google, you're not making information like, no, you're not only making information easier, but you're fundamentally changing the way of doing things. And there is new industries which are coming out. So which means that, for example, while people say that you don't need the data entry jobs, while that is completely true, so that eliminates that part of it from the workforce, but you need smart people who can write these prompts which I was describing to you to ChatGPT to get the work out of it. For example, it's another and totally another different job which is coming out. It's called prompt engineering. So people, that said, there's ton of work you can do. There's ton of problems you can solve. Like Nikki is solving a problem for you.
Podcast interview.
So
Be right out.
everyone is solving problems for each other.
I don't know.
And yeah, so AI is gonna be big, that's for sure. But yeah, and I think last.
Jeel, I just wanted to pick up on 2 things. So it could grow your business at least 300%, right? And also AI, the money's invested is 1,000 times more than Google or any of these Facebook. When everything's big, this is 1,000 times bigger than any of these social media or Google companies, anything. The infrastructure that they put into it, and it hasn't even started yet. It's just like a tip of the iceberg right now. Correct?
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think Trump invested 500 billion into AI just recently, right? So
Yep.
And I've seen people in Emirates, Dubai, all that. They've dumped trillions.
Yeah, it's just going to
I
change
think
everything.
Dubai is the capital of tech and AI right now and stuff. Correct?
Yeah, and it's so big, like it's already bigger than largest countries like GDP and stuff. So like so much money is getting invested that is like more than a country's GDP. So it's gonna be big, that's for sure. And it's just the people who like me, like you, who are going to use it to empower themselves. That's the one who will be ultimately get value out of it. And if this is not like the software 1.0 last before the field service softwares came like House Call Pro, people were like, oh, I stay on sheets or either I either switch to a software. But even if you are going to a software, you're still doing things, planning things manually. So the part of thinking which is human brain is not going anywhere. It's just the interface is changed from a manual sheet to a software. This revolution is about thinking. So the software can do the thinking for you. So are you among the 1% smartest mind, like any of us, like Ronnie, who can think of marketing, for example, and that's the key skill down the path. So yeah, with that.
So it's kind of like having a mentor, but it's a super robot that's artificially intelligence pretty much means like a robot that doesn't make very many mistakes, that already has the knowledge, already has the experience, mentors you, sponsors you, walks you through it, and explains why they're doing it, correct?
Exactly. So, yeah, if you are into any field service, trade, any business, any single place you are on currently as a student or as a young guy thinking of starting, or you are a person making $10 million in revenue, you need AI, you are going to use it, and no one has an option not to use it. If you're not using it, you're going to be swiped away by people who are using it. And yeah, I think that's the end of like that's the end of my questions, and I hope people got value, especially on marketing, on how to think of it for their field service business. Thank you,
Well,
guys.
it's an honor and a privilege to be on your podcast, and we really look up to you. And listen, we're your cheerleaders, we're your fans. We know it's a starting point, and that's exciting to start with a software company that's going to be the largest one throughout the world for the service industry. So I feel like we're all pioneers to your company. So thanks for having us on, and it was a great honor.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Nice.
First podcast.